And this is nowhere near what it normally looks like at 5 o'clock on a Friday, but that, of course, is exactly what officials are wanting. They are still urging people to stay off the roads. You know, what happened here today can really only be described like something out of a movie. It was something nobody expected. But while the air quality worries have lifted around the site, it's what's been found in the water that's now causing concern. The X-ray machines are causing all of the long lines. They're still down here at the security checkpoint, and that means TSA is having to go through all the bags individually before passengers can proceed to their gate. Police about 30 minutes ago just opened up the big Morgan City Bridge, of course, Highway US 90. It's been closed since yesterday afternoon. In just a few hours, the evidentiary hearing will begin here at the parish courthouse against Brandon Laverne. The conditions out here are actually not too bad. However, the wind is slowly picking up. When both congressmen showed up, they seemed very friendly and eager to start this anticipated debate and get the show on the road. And there's a number of different reasons for owning certain kinds of snakes. This one, Victoria, was just featured in the TV series American Horror Story Coven. And properly lighting fireworks is just as important. That means do not use matches, do not use lighters, since a firework could explode earlier than expected. Police say they go around checking for unlocked door handles, looking for that lucky break. When it comes to cleaning, do not use products like hydrogen peroxide or rubbing alcohol. They actually break down the skin's tissue and can make an infection worse. These are golden Bengal tigers, and they are the largest and most rare of all cats, and these two are the only ones in the state of Louisiana. And this was the point of entry. This window was shattered, and a large bookshelf on the other side had to be pushed over in order to get in. And the rescue group's networking opportunities are endless. This dog, Jenny, was just pulled from Vermilion Animal Control and will soon be on a flight to a new home in Seattle. Just a few acres behind the stables is what people are calling the graveyard. As you can see, there are bones scattered everywhere from what looks to be horse remains. And if you look right here, this is a skeleton of a horse, and there's actually a halter still attached around its mouth. After a painful summer, there's finally answers.
I feel that justice has prevailed. You know, we always worry in every criminal case that justice delayed may be justice denied.
Those in court listened as Assistant District Attorney Keith Stutz detailed the events leading up to the deaths of both Mickey Shunick and Lisa Pate. It was clear from that statement Mickey fought for her life, severely wounding her killer, Brandon Laverne, in the process.
Much of what she did to the defendant, leaving the injuries that she did, led in large part to us being here today.
Friends and family stood strong during the hearing despite sitting through the graphic details of how Mickey was killed. The Shunick family said they were involved in the plea deal for Laverne in exchange for the one thing they wanted most, the location of her body.
The DA met with us a week ago or so and, discussed this, and before I could say a word when he brought this on the table, Nance says, I want the body found now. Yeah. And that's what we wanted to happen.
Well, it's been, from the beginning, it's been find Mickey, bring Mickey home, so.
Laverne's defense attorney said the plea deal was Laverne's idea.
He approached us several weeks ago wanting to relieve himself of this burden and relieve the pressure on the Shunick family.
And much pressure has been relieved, although their wounds may never heal. The Shunicks found their daughter almost 3 months to the day.
There'll never be complete closure on this thing, but I feel relieved after today.
I'm sure us and the Pates, I'm sure are all relieved. It's been 13 years for them. I don't know how they could bear it.
She put up one hell of a fight, and I couldn't be more proud of her for that.
In a time when modern medicine can create miracles, there's now a grim reminder nature reigns supreme. Drugs are now getting weaker and germs are getting stronger. And it's the use of antibiotics, or rather the overuse of them, that spawned a new kind of killer, superbugs, bacteria that's outsmarting medicine.
Every time we use an antibiotic, we pressure those bacteria to become resistant. And it's survival of the fittest. The ones that survive are the ones that are going to go on to cause antibiotic-resistant infections in other individuals.
Dr. Fred Lopez, infectious disease expert at LSU Medical School, says antibiotic resistance is a real problem, tearing through every hospital in America. According to the Center for Disease Control, 2 million people are infected with resistant infections a year, with 20,000 deaths. Resistance is largely blamed on mistreatment.
Ever wonder why your doctor tells you to finish the entire antibiotic pack? Well, when it comes to bacteria, only the strong survive, so it's really important to clear the infection completely.
And overuse has changed the face of the so-called miracle drug. For years, MRSA, methicillin-resistant staph, has been the main fear for doctors. But Dr. Lopez says new bugs are wreaking havoc and are tough, if not impossible, to treat.
One is gonorrhea. In fact, it's antibiotic-resistant gonorrhea. The second is Clostridium difficile, which is an infection. It's actually a bacteria that causes an infection in the intestine of people who take usually antibiotics.
Lopez says what's more alarming is the lack of incentives, halting new antibiotic development within pharmaceutical companies. It's slowed so much, infections like the common cold or strep throat could be fatal down the road. Lopez says there are alternative therapies in the works, but microbes may win the race. So have we reached a tipping point?
Something that we're going to be hearing more and more about. This problem is not going away.
Caroline Balchunas, KLFY News 10. There's a lot of hazards that go along with working on an offshore oil rig, and the journey going to and from the rig can be just as dangerous. The helicopter ride requires extensive training as well. It's a type of conditioning for the worst-case scenario.
Water up the nose, disorientation. But where's that window corner? Where's that door handle? Where's that seatbelt? Where's the surface?
Terry Crownover, the director of training for the Marine Survival Training Center, says the program is in its 24th year. So just how real is this simulator? They put me to the test.
All right, I'm going to change into my oil-filled coveralls. This is a requirement for the simulator since the weight really changes your agility and movement underwater. All right, let's go.
We didn't dive in the simulation right off the bat. It began with a swim test, flotation techniques, and how to survive rough at-sea conditions. After a few total submersion run-throughs, a couple inverted trials, it seems Crownover was right about the disorientation.
Probably at the most be 8 to 10 seconds, but when you come to the surface, you'll swear that you've been there 3 minutes.
And he wasn't kidding. Adrenaline kicks in as soon as your feet touch the water. Crownover says although the simulation is only a fraction of how a real-life scenario would play out, over the years, it's proven effective.
One of the perks of being an instructor over here is when somebody comes back and says, I'm here from what I learned at school. We've had success stories.
I survived my first Marine training, and although I now have a mental map, I can only hope I'll never actually have to use it. Caroline Balchunas, KLFY Multimedia News.